Everybody knows about CP-2816's trek to Mexico in mid-2024, but not everybody knows about CP-2860. But it was the first Canadian Hudson restored, a symbol of British Columbia, and an engine that once ran excursion trains across Canada, and occasionally into California. Wait, California?
Hold up!
Let's start with some background. CP-2860 is a Hudson-type locomotive built for the Canadian Pacific in June of 1940 by the Montreal Locomotive Works. The locomotive is a part of the H1E class of Hudsons, which is a subclass of the H1 Hudsons. In 1939, 2860's sister engine, Canadian Pacific 2850, pulled the Royal Train with King George VI and Queen Elizabeth across Canada without failure. The King was really pleased with the engine and its train, which led him to let the railway use the term Royal Hudson for all semi-streamlined Hudson engines in the Canadian Pacific Fleet. CP-2860 and all of its class were retired in the late 1950s and placed on deadline trains, waiting to be scrapped. However, 2860 was saved by the Vancouver Railway Museum, with the goal of making 2860 an operating excursion engine. In short, they were successful, and in 1977, plans were made to send CP-2860 on a mission to increase tourism in the province of British Columbia. The plan was to send 2860 to the United States, specifically California, with the final destination of Los Angeles, because of its population mass and relatively close proximity to British Columbia.
Not really.
2860's train consisted of CP-2860 at the lead, a separate steam auxiliary tender to hold water for the long journey, a boxcar for the tool support, and 7 British Columbia Railway burgundy-painted coaches, mostly made to make the ambassadors of the crew of 2860 comfortable for the long journey. The train departed Vancouver, Canada, southbound towards the border via BC Rail's Hydroslano Yard in mid-March of 1977. On the 19th of 1977, the engine and its train crossed into White Rock, Washington, continuing south. The train made many stops along the way, in places like San Francisco, San Jose, Salem, Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, Fresno, and more. By the 29th, the train made it to Bakersfield, California, where a Southern Pacific SD40-2 tunnel motor was attached to the train to assist with dynamic braking over Tehachapi Pass. The journey over the pass went smoothly, with the train making its final push towards Los Angeles later that day.
Nice.
The train made it to Los Angeles Union Station on the 30th, where the train sat on display for 2 days before traveling back north to Canada. After the tour, 2860 ran occasional excursion trains around the greater British Columbia area up until 2010, when unfortunately 2860 was retired from excursion service and placed on static display at the West Coast Railway Heritage Park in Squamish, British Columbia. At the time of the excursion was extremely publicized, yet now it feels like most of American rail fans have forgotten about the trip 2860 took to California in March of 1977, which is a shame because of how rare a Canadian steam locomotive in California truly is. Any steam locomotive for that matter. But did 2860 really achieve its goal of gaining more people to go to British Columbia, Canada? And the answer to this is actually an astounding yes. After 1980, the tourism in British Columbia, Canada skyrocketed, and with the addition of Expo 86 9 years later, the beauty of British Columbia finally made it into the public eye. Heck, maybe I should take a trip up to British Columbia to see 2860 for myself. Anyways, that's all for this video. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one or similar to this one. I'm Modern Line Studios, and I'll see you next time on the rails.